There are two game creators that create tabletop games using miniatures that are my top two: the Gremlin Project team and the Guillotine Games team. You've seen my Zombicide stuff. I don't know if my Massive Darkness stuff has gone up yet, but that's Guillotine Games. This is Sword and Sorcery, the Gremlin Project. Ares Games is the publisher. But this is one of my top games. It doesn't get as played as much as I would like to, but now that I have the rest of the content, I was missing some content because I wasn't able to kickstart it. So I was short some content, so it was slowly released. All the content is out. There may be a hero here and there, but I think I got most of it. It's a lot. There's 3 expansions over here, continuation of Act 1, and then Act 2, and the continuation of Act 2. So this game is huge. Like I said, it's the main box, which is pretty big. It's got a foam insert and a bunch of stuff stacked on, so it's not closed all the way. And then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 character packs and some ghost soul forms with some talents to add to the game for the 5 characters that are in the game. So this is a tabletop game for 1 to 5 players. It's cooperative. It is it's a miniatures game, but it's not like a horde miniatures game like Zombicide is. You have a set of enemies. There's your green enemies, your blue enemies, your red enemies, and your purple enemies, and you spawn them as you progress through the game. There is a timer in the game with the event deck, so you have to complete the mission within a certain amount of time. You also have to not die, and you get powers. You get leveling up. It's all kinds of great stuff. You get use these soul gems to keep track of your stats. There's character mats. It is a little large on the table, not the maps themselves, but all the extra stuff of keeping track of all the player cards and whatnot. But I think I'm going to be able to do 5 characters. I may not be able to show everything, but I'm going to show what I can. I'm definitely going to be able to show the maps, so that's what counts. So I want to take a look at what's inside the main box. Now there's more than what comes in the game in here, because I got some extras in the beginning. We'll move the characters, and we'll check out all the characters at the end, and then we'll look at all the expansions, because the expansions don't come with any characters. So just move these expansions out of the way. Like I said, there's a lot of content for Sword and Sorcery. It is oh yeah, they have metal coins. They came out with metal coins for it, which are fantastic. So I'm gonna bring the camera in a little bit closer here. Alright, bring the camera in, and we're gonna take a look at what's in this box. Now, first, you're gonna get a rule book. The rule book is a little tough to get through. It really is. It's not very well laid out, and as I go through a playthrough, I'll explain to you what's laid out in the rulebook and where I think a few house rules are needed, because it gets a little crazy. There's a nice player reference card. It's nice. You don't have to keep digging in the rulebook. This is set up very nice. I do like this system. I can just sit it right there on the table, and it's good. And then we have, here is the storybook. This has all your quests in it. That's what's in this, is all your quests. I believe it has 7. 5, 6. Yep, 7 quests, and then 8 starts an arcane portal. And then all the Kickstarters that kickstarted the game. That's awesome. So nice storybook. It tells you all you need to know in that, and then there's a book of secrets here. This is all the various tokens. I have them in this token organizer because it makes it easy. You got your soul points. You got your, I have regular money in here because that's what comes with the game. Fire tokens, shield tokens, damage, search, bags, just random tokens that are required for the game to play the game. So, and then I have another box of tokens that are normally used to summon enemies and your waypoints for setting up the map. This is more of the stuff for setting up the map. Little box. Here's one of the tiles. This is one of the larger tiles. And then we'll take this off. And we have some character sheets. These are the character dashboards here for the different characters you can be. And then here is the master enemy cards. This has a troll and an orc king in it. And then the characters that I have in here are the pirate girl, the bow guy that comes with the game, the sorceress comes with the game, Shay, she's like a assassin, comes with the game, the dwarven fighter comes with the game, and then the tank Icarus, he comes with the game, and then an expansion is Omar. I actually have 2 copies of the Witch and Omar. I may be giving one away, but we'll look at all those individually. And then I have the doors, the 3D doors and treasure chest. This is all the custom dice. Get a red and a blue. So different things do different things for different people. Here is all their soul gems. Like there's the pirate. So this basically keeps track of their hit points, their actions, how many powers they can have, and how much health they have, and things like that. Enemies, you got your blue and green and red enemies. Then you have some more tiles, and then over here you have your enemy sheets that, you know, how you activate them based on their color and how all their movement and things like that, and how they attack. And it's all AI. You know, the AI for them is your critical tokens. You draw those at random, and then there's more tiles. And then here's the Book of Secrets. We won't get into that until the gameplay. And then we have more tiles here. These are all tiles. Then under here is the rest of the enemies and all the cards. Now, the purple enemies, they're going to be your bosses, your main bosses. The silver guys are going to be your heroes, and then the bluish are their ghost soul form, because when you die, you become a ghost soul. And then you have the blue and the green. The green is the weakest, blue is next, and then red is considered just like a master, or a not a master because that's different, a more powerful version of that group. So now let's take a look at some cards here. You have a stash deck. This is all the equipment that you can start with. When you start, and then like I said, here's the event deck. They're all numbered. It tells you how to set that up in the beginning. There's an enemy power deck, because enemies can be powered up with special powers that can really wreck you or not have that much effect. Most of the time it's bad. The encounter deck, 90% of that's bad. 90% of the trap deck is bad. You open a door, you trigger a trap. Yeah, it's all bad. This is a very tough game. It is very, very tough. When I play with my son, it's a little bit hard on my son, but I have some house rules that we put in effect that help us, that make it easier for him to play the game, because it can get a little brutal. And then next we have the Emporium cards, and then we have the enemy cards mixed in, and the treasure cards. Apparently these weren't organized correctly. So the treasure card, you draw a treasure card when it tells you to. There could be your character's soul weapon, like the flaming sword. I'm not sure. I think that's for the tank. You can get this flaming sword. It does a lot of damage. They're Act 1 weapons. There's not really any Act 2 stuff in here. The Act 2 stuff's in the Act 2 boxes. The first two, Arcane Portal and and the base game, they're all Act 1. So then we got, like I said, then we have the enemy deck. Has all your enemies you're going to draw from, and then we should be getting to the character cards, and then we have more of the Emporium. Yeah, there's actually what you can do at the Emporium. And then, battle axes you can get, extra damage, everything. And then you can forge your weapons. It's only good for one quest. So, put the Emporium back. We'll leave the stash out for looking at some cards, and we'll put the treasure back. Now, here we go. Now we have some character cards. These are the same size card sleeve? Nope. These use the European card sleeves. I believe I have some. So this is the Pirates cards. Victoria, she can either be a captain or a pirate. They have a chaos, neutral, or lawful side. This is their chaos symbol. This means they're on the chaos side. The wings mean they're on the angel side. And then they have a skill. Hers are passive. If she's on the lawful side, when you kill an enemy, you heal 1 HP. And then Pillager, when you kill an enemy, it drops +5 gold, or crowns, as they like to call them. And then they have a bag space size, how much you can carry in your backpack. A save, a lightning bolt's pretty good. And 3 move, but this one has a 3 bag, a star save, which is a little harder to get. But she has 4 movement, so she's not really tanky or DPS-y. She's kind of her Act 2 soul weapon, Seafin, is pretty good, but then again, it's not. So you can remove a fire token for an action. She has some good skills. Her neutral skills are pretty good. She can do extra attacks at level 3 with her dagger if she has one equipped. You're basically you're dealing with a lot with money here. Like you can discard 5 gold to get a blue or green enemy to attack another enemy. You can spend gold to draw a treasure card. You can give people defense at night. They get defense and per soul rank. Time phase, you can give people negative to hit, negative to armor. After you draw a treasure card, you can pay 15 to discard it and draw a new one in Act 1, 30 in Act 2. It's corruption, same thing, but it's a little bit cheaper. So she's good. She's more of a enemy manipulation type of thing. Now that's an expansion character. That's Victoria. I don't have her. I'll show her box when I get to it. I want to show you the base characters first. I should have skipped her. Okay, your base characters are Thogor. Okay, here's soul weapons right here. That's quest. Okay, there's soul weapons and quest items. Okay, so then we have Shay, Zoriel, and then we have Thor. I'm not going to go through every single person's skills. I will look a little more detail into the extra people, because people may want to. Then you can have talents that can do things. This is a separate guy. Okay, and this is more of Thogar. That's another stash weapon and an Emporium. These cards got mixed up. There's the other Thorgar. And then we have another talent. Thogar. Omar, the other one of those. Emporium. I think this is from our last game that we played. So there's another talent. Okay, so there's Omar's cards, and then this is probably going to be all... Yeah, these are all the talents for the 5 main people. Okay, I'm going to pause, and I'm going to get this sorted out by character, and then we're going to go over the 5 characters and how I would use them, because that's what this is about. This is about techniques and strategies on to use these. So hold on one second. Okay, I have the 5 starting characters laid out: tank, healer, and then your 3 DPSs. I don't run tank, healer, 3 DPSs. I run tank, healer, 2 DPSs, and then I run a tank DPS, and you'll see those from the additional boxes. But these are, if you don't have what your other DPS is, like if you want to run a tank DPS, but any one of these as a DPS is very good. But my son happens to like one of the other ones, Omar, that we'll talk about. That's the DPS, and the other DPS I won't run a game without her because she's insane. So, first at certain levels you get let's take a look at Thorgar here. This is his good side. He starts with like 6 health, and well, let's start in order of how we're going to do this. So this is lawful Icarus is what I call him. So he starts with 6 hit points. He gets 1 power, 1 attack, and 1 action at level 1. And on the chaos side, he gets 6. He gets basically the same thing. So let's take a look at his, and I'll tell you how I would equip him with a talent when he gets a talent. They get a talent when they get a little star up there. The little star is when he gets a talent. So level 2, he would pick up a talent. But currently, he just gets 1 skill to start with. And I'll tell you how I will equip him, because in the first quest, you're going to equip with 3 items. So I'm going to show you what he will equip with. But let's take a look at his two cards here. The chaos side, he has taunt. Once per round, you become the preferred victim of a target enemy until the end of its activation. And then your soul shout is target enemy suffers bash. So you may only use these 3, each one in any order. So when you die, you can either recall, move 5, or you can use your soul shout once per round. So, and then his Knight of the Black Rose, which is his chaos side, is merciless. If there are at least 2 enemies of different rank in play, all your attacks against the lower rank inflict +1 damage. That's good if you're tanking, because this guy is going to be tanking. He's not going to be putting out a lot of damage, but he is going to be tanking. So I'm not going to go over what actions do and things like that, because that's more of a rules thing, and I'll cover that at a different time. And the taunt works 3 squares away. The shield save, in my opinion, is easier to get than the star thing, and I'll show you that on a die. A die has 3 stars, and it has 4 shields. Yeah, 4 shields. So 3 stars, 4 shields. You get 1 more opportunity to get a shield than you do a star. Other than that, their bag slots are the same. Either one are good. I tend to play a mixed party. It says you can do that in the rule book. It says to pick all of one, lawless or chaos, but you can have a mixed party. I have no issue with that. Just whoever comes up to the quest, whoever is that active hero, when it asks you to pick in the storybook, you have to pick their affiliation. You can't just pick from any of the 3 like some people think you can. Anyways, in my rules, you have to pick whoever character. So if this is a law guy and he goes up there, he has to read a law thing, even though there's a chaos person in the group, and vice versa. The chaos person would do that. Now, this guy his soul shout is target Enemy suffers 1 HP. You would think, yeah, that's great. Every turn you can do damage. When you die, you lose a soul rank, and it costs your soul rank squared to level up. So if you're level 3, it costs you 9 soul gems to get to level 3. When you die, you go to level 2, and you got to pay 9 soul gems to get back to 3, but you also have to pay 2 soul gems to resurrect. So it's 11 soul gems you just lost. So you want to try not to die. So that's where the tank comes in, and he's going to be tanking some damage. And his first skill I pick for him helps him out with that. But first wise, his 3 pieces of equipment is I give him a broadsword, a shield, and then I give him the chainmail armor. And hopefully get him some plate mail later. Some heavier stuff later. Gives him 1 guaranteed defense. He rolls 3 blue. He can reroll a defense dice, and 2 lightning bolts give him an extra shield. He gets +1 blocking, +1 armor for the shield. Later on, he can use his shield to attack and bash. He only has to score 1 hit. So, and if he has the enemy one, if it's a lower ranked enemy, he's already guaranteed that 1 hit, so he can bash. And then a broadsword, 2 red, and then a lightning bolt as a hit, and then a lightning bolt can reroll 1 hit die also. These are all range 1 weapons, but this would be his preferred starting equipment. I'll put that aside so we don't pick it again. Now, he has mostly neutral skills, and his lawful skill is all enemies in your area become blinded. He can get this at level 2, and it has a power cooldown of 3, and it's a range 0, and it costs 1 action. And at level 2, he doesn't get another spell, but at level 3, he gets another power, and he will have 2 actions by that point and 10 HP. So level 3, you could pick up another talent. But the first one I pick up is this one, Mighty Presence. Unless KO'd, you count as 2 figures for controlling and dominating the area. So if he's in the cell with 1 enemy, he dominates it, gets +1 hit automatically. So there's your hit, you can bash. So this comes in very handy, especially if you have 2 people in your square. You just need to get 1 other person. They're not dominating you. So it's very helpful. The next tank I pick, which I'm still iffy on, may also have this ability, so I haven't decided if I'm going to use that person yet. Y'all can help me make that decision. So this is the first skill I take for his first power, and then at level 2 he gets a talent, and I give him this one where he starts to gain extra hit points. So at level 1 he gains 1, then at level 3 when he can pick up a new power he'll get +2. And then for his level 3, he has his Crucial Blow for Chaos, which, I may run Chaos this time, because the rest of the skills are neutral. And then he can get the Rose Shield. Your next attack against you causes -1 hit per soul rank, so he would be level 3, so it would be divided in half, rounded up, so it would be 2. So it would be 2 less hits he would take, so that's good for tanky. It has a cooldown of 2 though. Your next melee weapon attack may hit up to 2 enemies in the same area. Depending on how well the other tank is doing and how well we're DPSing, this may be good if we have massive enemies. I play with 5 characters, so there's lots of enemies on the field. So, battle weapon style, he has a 2-handed weapon. I don't run him with a 2-handed weapon. I like him having a shield, especially a spike shield later. Extra damage. And then until the beginning of your next turn, when you're attacking, you get +1. When you're defending, you get -1 shield. So, not my cup of tea. But this is what I normally take as my second one. Perform an extra attack with the shield. This attack inflicts a lightning bolt. You get to KO the person. So you get an extra attack. This is a free action, so it doesn't cost you your action, so you can still focus. And if you are attacking a lower ranked enemy, you automatically get a hit. So you can automatically KO or you can automatically bash them, and all you need is a lightning bolt because you have the hit to KO them, and their armor doesn't count. So this is the second thing I picked. I'm not going to go past level 3 because we'll talk about that in the quest, but that would be where I start right there for Icarus. And then and I would take, I'm most likely going to take the Chaos version this time because of the 5 people. If I play with 3, I take the LOL side. Just, so that is him, and he has the cards he would have. Next is a guaranteed pick for me. It is Thogar the Cleric. He is my dedicated healer. And on his lawful side, he has 6 hit points, 1 attack, 1 action, 1 power at level 1, and the same thing on his Chaos side. Level 2, he gets a 2nd power on Chaos, and at level 2 on the law side, he gets a talent and 2 actions. So you can have 2 actions or 2 talents. So, and then level 3, he gets 2 actions and 2, and then it evens out basically. 1 more extra hit point. So we're gonna see here. What do we want? Chaos. We want 2 powers right away, or not? The talents, I really don't care about the talents too much. This guy can take a little bit if he gets better armor. But the good version here, he has passive Divine Aid within 3 zones. Once per round, target hero can reroll 1 die per soul rank. So at level 3, it's 2 dice. But at level 1 and 2, it's 1 die. So that's pretty good. 3 bag, star save, and I'm not a fan of the star save as I talked about. 3 move, about standard. And then we have Rune Master Thogar on his Chaos side. Rune denotation. Once per round, all enemies in an area with a rune token suffer 1 HP per act. Discard all rune tokens in play. So that's pretty good, and you start with 1 power, and you get a 2nd power with the Rune Master. So let's look at his law side. Is level 1, target enemy must be green. The target enemy must perform an attack against another enemy in his area, so you can command a guy for an action. Yeah, that's good. Not what I start out with for my healer. But offensive rune, place the rune token in your area until the time phase while present. All attacks performed by the hero in that area count each star as a hit result instead. So this is pretty good. Plus, once per round, you can make all the enemies suffer 1 HP. So I wouldn't pull this for my first talent, but I would pull it for my 2nd talent, and I'll show you what I would pull for my first one. Heal wounds. Heal target hero by 2 HP. So first would be that, heal, and then second would be the offensive rune if I'm playing Chaos, and then for his 3rd soul rank he would get a talent, and every time he has, let's see here. Yeah, he's going to get camaraderie. At the beginning of a quest, choose another hero as your teammate. When attacking, you can reroll up to 1 hit die per act if your teammate is engaged with your target enemy. So the tank's going to be engaged, and this guy is going to be in there with him, healing him, so he'll be attacking those dudes, so he would take camaraderie. And that would be his, and he would get the Battle Hammer, which does 2 red and 2 blue. He can KO, he can do extra damage, he can bash, and then he would get the Studded Leather. That's 1 defense, Lightning Bolt's another defense, and 2 blue for defense. So that would be how I equip him, and that's a guaranteed. Those 2 are in my party. I'm going with Chaos now, so let's look at the 3 DPSs that I probably are not going to use. Let's look at Shay the Rogue. I'm going to do these a little faster because I'm not using those. Shay on her lawful side, 4 hit points. She starts with a skill and a talent, a power and talent, 2 actions. On her chaos side, she starts with 5 hit points and 1 of everything else. She can disarm traps when you, on the good side, lawful, when you must draw a trap card, draw 2 and play 1. Thievery, you can use any consumable item, ignoring restrictions. And then assassin, vortex of daggers. Each time you perform a main hand dagger attack, you can perform an extra attack with dagger against the same enemy. So assassin, I believe there is 2 daggers in the starting equipment, so you could give her both daggers. It's not a lot of damage, it's mainly 3 blue dice. And then you give her some leather armor. Nope, she can't use leather armor. You'd have to... Yeah, she can take leather armor. So... yeah. That means anybody. The star means anybody. That means everybody but magic. So that's what you can do with that. For her power, I would take the... I don't know. Move out of there. You can ignore the next reaction attack from target enemy if you want to get out of there. If not, engage by the hidden token. Here's Steven. Roll. You can gain some stuff. If you're stealing, you can steal from a target enemy. Like I said, she doesn't put out... I mean, she puts out some DPS, but I guess dagger mastery until the next time phase. All your dagger inflicts +1 attack. So, and then later at 4, you can have -1 +1, and -2, and 1 extra damage. So, not my type of character. So that's Shay. Oh, and her dragon power is roll 1, target enemy becomes blinded. On a hit, target enemy becomes blinded, and target enemy becomes KO'd. She can just randomly KO somebody in chaos. So that's Shay, the rogue. Not my thing. Lagon, he's pretty good for an archer. He would get the short bow and a leather vest. So he's neutral, so he's either or. So you get to pick what you want to do with him, or you can pick the neutral option. He's the only one that can pick the neutral option. Once per round, when you perform a bow attack, perform an extra bow attack against the same enemy. That guy's awesome for that. Or you can have him run the dagger route. I tend to use more of a ranged approach so he doesn't get hit, even though the tank's in there. And then you can have at 2 rain of arrows. Your next bow attack does AoE, everybody in the cell. You can backflip, move 1 area. You can heal 1 HP soul rank to the targeted hero. He can set traps. He can do a precision strike where he inflicts critical. He can activate at level 2. He can summon a wolf companion, which here's his stats. It has move 5. It has however many hit points is your soul rank. Over here. 4 move. He doesn't count as a person, and he has however many soul ranks as you have. He can pick up and carry loot as a free action, and he can attack with 2 red at 0, and he can KO on a star, and he has 3 blue defense. So at level 2, you can pop him up. Let's take a look at... So at level 1, you get 5 and 1 of everything, and 4 and 1 of everything. So level 2, you get 2 powers. That's the one I would take, and then I would take the wolf. I would take... Nope, not the ranger. I would take this guy. So at 1, take the next bow attack. Oh, that's at level 2. You could do the trap. Oh, the critical. You can start doing criticals. And then at level 3, you can take either your next bow attack does AoE, because you have 2 actions at that point, or you can start summoning the wolf, and at 4 you definitely can get the wolf in. And then for this guy, you can summon the wolf at 2, but you're going to be dual wielding daggers, and I don't know how well that's going to work out. So again, he would get the bow and leather armor. So that's Legon. And then last out of the box set is Oriole. She's a sorceress. Her light side is channeling. Before any hit or defense die roll, you can choose one less die to get a star result. And then her soul shout is target hero can reroll any hit or defense dice. It says dice, so that means any or all. She can spend Arcanist. She can spend an action once per round, perform an extra attack with a wand. Unfortunately, there are no wands in the stash, so you have to hope you get one. Reroll any dice for target enemy's attack or defense. So that's her soul shout. It is good once she gets her wand out of the search deck. Basically, you throw her a staff right now. Her good, she can get, if no image tokens in play, gain 2 tokens. Before defending, roll 1 blow each time. If shield, discard 1 token and ignore the attack. So you get this, you get 2 things. So before defending, roll 1 blue for each remaining token. If you get a shield, you discard a token and you ignore attack. Cooldown begins when all tokens are discarded. So that's good on her law side, but it's not a wand. The other free wand attack is a little bit better. But she can have Ice Manipulator. It's automatic 2 hits. 1 red. She can automatically not roll the red and get 1 star, but then she can't get the other star. But on 1, she gets 3 blue, so she can hopefully get 2 stars and stun. They don't get an activation. -2 armor on a lightning bolt, range 3. So, or the chaos can get flame, a little less powerful, but like I said, you can get the free wand attack later. And then she can also get drain life, which is great if you need a little bit of healing. The guy that my son uses has that. Invisibility, dancing lights. Then she can be Thunderlord, which is an attack. She can get some shielding and then another attack. You stun and KO all green, or at 3 all enemies. And then Magic Bolt is range 2, just 1 HP, cooldown 2, so every 2 turns. So that's her. We'll look at her dial. Level 1 on the Enchantress. Yeah, on the bad side, 2 powers you start with, but only 3 hit points. On the good side, you start with 4 hit points and 2 powers. So, you could go Chaos and hope you get the wand in one of the treasures. So, that's my only idea on that one. Now, we'll look at the one my son plays, is Omar, this mage guy. And then we'll look at some of the other people. Omar starts with 4 hit points, but hits pretty hard for DPS. He only starts with 1 power, 1 action, and then on the good side he has 4, and then he gets a talent he starts with. But at level 2, he can have 2 on the Chaos side. And the Chaos is the guy I like. So he can summon mastery. Your Nightwalker companion, which you can summon, gets +2 health, and the dog symbol can reroll any dice. And then the Necromancer, when an enemy dies, place a tome token in your area. When you can remove it whenever you desire. That's great. He can summon this guy at level 1, but that's not the Nightwalker. He can do Flame Master at level 1 for good. And then he can do fire, wall of fire, firestorm, dimensional pit. But here's reanimate dead. You can discard a tomb and pull an enemy out of the enemy deck, and he attacks another enemy. Normally I run him with Drain Life level 1. That's a good magic spell in the staff. And then I give him Skeleton Guards later on, because you can discard a tome. You can discard it to ignore an attack completely. Or what's very good is Arcane Bolt. You can suffer hit points. And then here's his 2 champions. The actual Nightwalker actually counts as a hero, so you have to summon accordingly. So that's and then you can summon him at rank 3. So this one you can Corpse Explosion. You can discard a tome. All enemies in the area suffer 1 hit point per soul rank, and at level 1 they get poison 1, and it's range 2. So this guy is pretty good. I normally run him with Drain Life because the staff doesn't hit really well. But sometimes I'll run him with, if I'm running 5, I'll run Corpse Explosion just to get that guaranteed 1 HP per. And then when I get him leveled up, I'll pull the Drain Life, and then. But if I need the DPS, I'll take Drain Life first. But I always run him Chaos, just because of the tome thing, and he can cancel attacks and all that stuff. So that's him. That's who I run with him. And like I said, I give him the staff and the arcane robes until we get something better in the equipment deck. We already looked at the pirate. We'll look at my other tank. This is Sklegged. I haven't popped anything out on him yet, but you can see this is his Chaos side. You can see all his stats, and that's his LOL side. So this is one of going to probably be my tank DPS to run, because he's got some pretty cool skills. He starts with 1 in the beginning, and there's his model right there. And let's take a look at these. I haven't sleeved any of these yet because I gotta find my red sleeves. In the good mode, your attacks against red and purple enemies inflict critical, and you can only equip light armor. Or you can have rage. If you are wounded for at least half your HP, your attacks deal +1 damage, and you can only equip light armor. Shield save, 1 thing in the bag, and then 3 movement. He does have a tomahawk he can buy in the Emporium. His main weapon doesn't come out till Act 2, and either does his Infurioso artifact. But if he has a 2-handed weapon, he can do criticals. On the good side, when rolling a defense die, you can, if you get, after defending, roll a die, a blue. For each lightning bolt, you ignore 1 HP suffered per act. So that's a passive. He can ignore pain at level 1. But if you control an area your attacks inflict, that's for chaos. Well, I normally do the LOL side on this, so I can critical red and purple people. So chaos, you can inflict 1 die on somebody, or you can have rage. You can gain some bag slots. You can taunt people. But here's War Paint. This is what I would start out with. If you have no armor equipped when defending, you can roll up to 4 blues, and a lightning bolt is reroll any defense die, and you get 1 magic shield. Magic shield can block lethal. And at level 4, you get 2 magic shields. You're rolling 4 dice. For a backup tank that can still do some DPS, basically give him the scimitar and a dagger, maybe, and you know, and then get him his axe and his offhand. Then later he can get 2 axes equipped and start doing some DPSing. You can get him muscular training, getting him extra hit points and extra movement. Then you can get Juggernaut, Eye for an Eye. That's his legendary power. You only use that once per quest. So, he's pretty good. Where's his token? So, if you pick his lawful side, by level 2 he gets 2 powers. So, he has 9 hit points. So, he'd be pretty good tanky. And stuff like that. You can do some stuff with some actions. So this is, he's up there for my pick for my tank. Really not any weapons per se for him. You have to visit the Emporium first to buy his axe, and then there's only the 1 axe. There is some in the treasure deck, but you know, you got to get the chances of the treasure deck. And then this would be my other option for a tank is Cronin. This guy is weird. He doesn't start with a power, so he doesn't get anything until level 2, but he gets 2 actions. So I would probably take the law side, but let's look at his cards here. The law side, he can Fear Strike once per round. Your next attack inflicts +1 damage, so you can focus. You have 2 actions, so you can focus and do +1 damage. So you're doing 2 damage guaranteed. He can't equip shields or heavy armor. So, and he has 7 hit points in the beginning on this side. His other one is Dreadlord. When you kill an enemy, it drops +1 soul gems. He's really not equipped to kill enemies, and he can't wear medium armor. And then he has Mighty Presence also. Unless KO'd, you count as 2 figures. That's great. He has Bare Knuckles, which I would take first, because it just costs an action. You can KO somebody, you can critical people, and then you can still focus your focus and attack. And then next, I would take, at level 3, I would take Mighty Presence. So with just the 2 tanks, it's 4 models. And if there's 2 in there, you're still dominating, getting that extra hit. He does some stuff. He's got a 2-handed weapon, which he's most likely going to have. In the beginning, there's not a 2-handed weapon to choose from. Basically, the scimitar would be what he would get if... I don't know. So, there's not a lot to choose from. He might have to run 2 daggers or a staff or something. But he doesn't get any skills in the beginning. So, he's not going to do a lot. So, I got to give him something. So, maybe the scimitar and give... well, Skleeg wouldn't be in it if this was my other tank. So then he can do an AoE. So, you know, not too bad. If he can get a hold of his bone armor, that's great. It's a light armor. He can wear it. It's pretty good. And his... Where's his bone sword at? He has a bone sword. I thought he had a bone sword. Guess not. Oh, that's weird. Thought he had a bone sword that he could get that does damage to him. But I think it was Act 2 anyways. So, no, he does have one Act 1. You can choose the type you weapon, but like I said, it's all treasure cards. You gotta hope you get it in the treasure deck. So, that's Cronin. That's the other possibility for a tank. So, that is that. Now, I'm gonna show you my other DPS, and then I'm gonna call it, and I'll talk about the other characters in a future video, because this is already 30-something minutes long. she is. Morgan, the girl with the whip. Demon Huntress or Witch Hunter. So she can be either or. You pick the one you want in the beginning. So there's her demon side 5111, and on this side 5111. So either way, she's neutral. She's a neutral character. So it's basically what you want your arch enemy to be. And she at least comes with her own starting weapon, the whip, which is good. I pick this one, the Demon Hunter, because the demon arch enemy is the next one in Arcane Portal, and that is where you're going to need her to have vengeance, where they can get bleeding. And then her first skill would be Whipmaster, ignore the damage taken by a whip, because her whip causes, if you roll a dog, you suffer 1 HP, but this gives that, and you don't, and if you roll an SS, you inflict bleeding, and you get to add 1 red die per soul rank divided by 2. So she's rolling on her whip that she starts with, the Hunt Whip. She's rolling a 1 damage guaranteed. She's rolling a red and 3 blues. An extra damage on a lightning. 2 lightnings is a KO. It's 1 range. And she's knocking it out. And then she gets to level 3. With this one skill, she's rolling 2 red and 2 blue. So she's going to do some extra stuff. And at level 3, if your whip attack deals a KO, you perform an extra attack with the hand bow. So if we can get the hand bow out of the Emporium for 55, so she gets an attack with a hit and a red, and it takes away a shield, or she can get a critical. So this girl is nasty. Her Act 2 stuff is nasty. You can get target enemy counts as your arch enemy until the time phase. So you can make someone, you can start the quest with either some money, a treasure, or a treasure and money later on at level 6. There's some great stuff in here. Your next bow attack gives you an extra lightning bolt. So then she has a banishing strike. X hits automatically as your soul rank, and then fire 2 versus your arch enemy, and it's 2 red, 2 blue, and then at level 4, and you get this at level 4, and you can do AoE on a star or lethal at level 6. Or you can gain some movement, and then some health, and then some health, movement, and an action. And then you can roll 1 red, target suffers fire 1 plus the damage. And then you can, if it's your arch enemy, you can slow, blind, poison, or they suffer 3 HP. You can use a whip to ignore all hindrances if you have a whip collapse. And then her legendary is you gain wings, and you may immediately perform an additional move activity. So that's her. That's my main DPS. She can put out the damage. Let me tell you, she can put out the damage. So she's my main DPS. Omar will be my backup DPS. Probably going to run one of these two when I decide on what I'm going to do for my backup tank DPS. And move on from there with the other two, with the tank and healer. So I'm going to call it for this video as an intro to my sword and sorcery. I'll do another video on the other characters that I'm not using, and maybe you can convince me to use them. And then I will talk about the expansions as I come across them. I will be playing the whole entire campaign from Quest 1 all the way through to the end of Act 2. So we'll see how we do. Be a couple house rules because I don't like the way some of the stuff's worded in the book. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'll talk about that when we're going to set up for the first game. So thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed the Sword and Sorcery video series.